Okay, the landmine squat. This is again an athletic movement. My only thing about it is it's a very fixed range of motion. You can move like side to side a little bit, but um I would I'm putting it at the end of neutral again. Side lunges, they're gonna go in most effective right in front of the sissy squats because they take pretty good mobility, not insane mobility, but they do take some pretty damn good mobility to execute. They train your abductors. It's a better alternative to the abductor machine that is straight up put right there. Other than hip abduction and hip adduction. My bad. I earlier in a mistake I made it. If you do a fire hydrant, let's go back on that. Hip abduction, you can only really train them in that machine. I don't know any other like squat like free weight movement you can train it in, other than if you stand at the bottom, use a band and do maybe a fire hydrant. But for hip abduction, that's a pretty good movement. The lateral squat, it's a very good movement. It teaches you how to stay stable. You're doing it on one leg at a time. You're alternating. Cable pull through. This is basically this is very weird. I'm putting it in neutral. It's basically a kettlebell swing, except the force is um on a cable instead. So it is a very weird variation of a kettlebell. I'd put it in good. I'd have to move most of these to good. But yeah, that's I got a notification from Xbox. A vertical sled press. I'm putting this in ineffective. It's just again a leg press. It's just literally a shittier squat. I cannot stress that enough. There is no reason not to squat or not to Bulgarian split squat versus leg press. At least like subjectively speaking. I know there might be better arguments for it, but there's really no difference in hypertrophy other down to personal preference. And the only thing that the squat's gonna give you is it's just gonna give you better longevity. The leg press, it's the same deal right there. A calf raise, no. I'm not putting anything in stupid or dangerous or nah. Okay, I'm putting all of these down here. Calf raise, I don't get the point in training calves unless you're a serious bodybuilder and you need to get that little edge. But from an athlete's perspective, there's no reason to train calves unless you're doing a plyometric. That means you're like jumping over boxes, you're doing some like lateral hurdles or stuff like that. Which you already train your calves when you do plyometrics, and you train your calves enough. You shouldn't be really training your calves for hypertrophy. Only should be training them for explosiveness. So, and then a seated calf raise goes in stupid because this doesn't just mean dangerous; it means stupid. I read that too. But standing calf raise, vertical leg press, and the standing calf raise or seated, they all go down here because there's no reason to train your calves. They're all genetic. Mine are big as fuck. I don't like them like that. It makes me look less athletic. I never trained them. I would only do plyos or just do my core movements that I do up here for the posterior chain. And then some people have extremely small calves. They load them up with volume and then they just never grow. Calves are pretty much genetic. There's nothing you can do about that. So there'd be it's just like avoiding reality to train them as much as possible. Hex bar deadlift, I put it in good because I like the deadlift more. I mean, you can lift more weight on a hex bar than you can on a deadlift, but the most important thing is that a deadlift, it's good for mobility and stuff like that. Hex bar, it's good for like if you're just getting in the gym because it's really easy to do good form. To do good form, okay, a lot of people like still do bad form with the hex bar deadlift, like really shit form. But with the hex bar deadlift, it's really easy to do good form versus where a regular deadlift, a lot of people do use pretty poor form. I'd still put it in good because it's really easy to like ego lift on. A lot of people do it irresponsibly. It's good for power, good for athletes. I know a lot of collegiate athletes do it better than deadlifts. So I'd put it in good. Smith machine squat, stupid. Again, it's a fixed range of motion, and you shouldn't really be squatting like that. But there's no difference between using the Smith machine and using a regular squat. Basically, all the free weight movements is a little bit more fatigue, so you have to do a little bit less volume. It's really easy to compensate for that. But a Smith machine squat is just taking out longevity. It's gonna give you more mobility in your late like senior years, and that's like the number one thing that goes bad. So if you abuse all of these machines, you don't use any free weights, you're just using machines, and you're saying, well, you can't train your back because you're gonna injure your back, or I don't want to get injured, unless you're extremely lean. Like, and I know some people get like lean before below 8% body fat, then there might be a little bit risk in getting injured, or you're taking a lot of steroids that weakens your joints tremendously. then that's the only reason you'd be using a lot of machines. And the only people that you do see using a lot of machines are these big ass bodybuilders that would tear a hamstring, tear their shoulder joint trying to do a regular squat over a safety squat, or anything like that using any of these that I put at the bottom. A machine belt squat, it loads pretty much only your quads without loading your back, so you can really focus in on the quads, and it doesn't add a lot of actual fatigue. It's still like you can still like fall back and forth. It's not a fixed range of motion, so that's why it goes good and good, because it destroys your quads. Bodyweight squat, it's good for a warm up, but again, I put it right here like you're literally just warming up. That's what a bodyweight squat is. Oh my god, I want to be done with this. Glute ham raise, I'm putting that in neutral too. I don't know where to put that. That's the thing. A stiff legged deadlift is going in most effective next to box squats. Again, it's a posterior movement. This teaches you good mobility. You have to have flexible hamstrings to do this movement, and if you can pull it off, and if you can keep it pulled off, same with all of these posterior movements at the top, you're asking for a nice, long, healthy life. All of these movements that are in GOAT, and all of these movements that are in most effective, is the movements that are going to keep you athletic, they're going to keep you powerful, they're going to keep you speedy, depending on what rep range and what kind of weight you use, and they're gonna give you a long, healthy life. I cannot preach that more and more. Train your posterior chain, load the spine, train the core very effectively, get a mean, strong core, and that's pretty much it for the video, guys.